Welcome to the Blue Dolphin News Network. I'm Michaela.
And I am Dana.
Please stand for the flag salute. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Now our school motto: be safe, live responsibly, understand, respect, and encourage each other. Go Blue Dolphins! You may be seated.
Birthday celebrations.
Hello, amazing human beings. I am so excited to be here with you. We are still, in the middle of Women's History Month, and I've been finding some really amazing and interesting human beings. So today we're going to be discussing Eugenie Clark. She is known as the Shark Lady. She did a bunch of research on different behaviors of sharks and different fish from the ocean. And it's funny because her story is that she's actually from New York. She's a New Yorker and grew up in New York, went to school in New York, and just followed her passion and dreams of loving. She went to go visit an aquarium in New York and fell in love with fish and fell in love with that idea. She visited like Atlantic City, the oceans, and she would dive into the water. And she just had this passion for sharks. So that became her career. And a lot of times it's really important to know that I like to ask children a lot, like, not what do you want to be when you grow up, but more like, what do you love? Like, what are you passionate about? What drives you? And that type of question really actually leads to what you're probably going to be when you grow up. So make sure that you follow that love and that passion that you have. That's why it's so important to be in school, because you're learning about so many different things, and that exposes you to different things. Like, for example, with Eugenie, she learned about animals, and like she went to the aquarium and she fell in love with animals, and she knew, wow, this is my passion. This is my drive. This is what I want to become when I grow up. So she became known as the Shark Lady. I'm going to share my screen so we can see some cool pictures of her. This is actually her. Look at her with the sharks, swimming with the sharks. So she's a really interesting person. We're going to learn all about her through this book called Shark Lady.
This week, I thought we'd go back to reading some real life stories. And I wanted to start with the incredible life story of Dr. Eugenie Clark, who was a scientific pioneer. And she was nicknamed the Shark Lady. Why was she nicknamed the Shark Lady? Well, let's read on and find out. It was Saturday, and Eugenie wanted to stay at the aquarium forever. She wanted to smell the damp, salty air and stare at the glittery rainbow of fish. She wanted to keep watching her favorite animals, the sharks. Eugenie pretended she was walking on the bottom of the sea. What would it be like to swim with her sharks? To breathe underwater with gills of her own? More than anything, she wanted to find out. When the summer came, Eugenie's mother took her to swim at the beach in Atlantic City. Stuffing sticky gum into her ears to keep the water out, Eugenie dove. Down, down, down. The salt stung her eyes, but she didn't want to miss a single fish. Constellations of sea stars speckled the pebble sand. She imagined a silvery fin standing strong on her back, slicing through the ocean current. To others, sharks were ugly and scary, but Eugenie knew they were beautiful. As she glided through the cool water, she wished everyone could see sharks through her eyes. But the sharks were only in her mind for now. Eugenie decided to learn everything she could about them. So, she dove. This time into books. Whale sharks, nurse sharks, tiger sharks, lemon sharks. Eugenie wanted to know about them all. She also joined the Queens County Aquarium Society as its youngest member. Eugenie's notebooks filled with sharks. They swam in her daydreams and on the margins of her pages. At home, Eugenie's mother surprised her with an aquarium of her own. A 15-gallon tank was much too small for sharks, but Eugenie saved her allowance to buy guppies, clownfish, and coral red snails. It felt as big as an ocean in her room. The small apartment became an aquarium, a laboratory, and a sanctuary. As she grew older, many were still telling Eugenie what to do. Forget those sharks. Be a secretary. Be a housewife. Eugenie wanted to study zoology, but some of her professors thought women weren't smart enough to be scientists or brave enough to explore the oceans. And they said sharks were mindless monsters. Eugenie knew better. Her dream was as big as a whale shark. So again, Eugenie dove. She plunged into every course she could. Her laboratory became her home. From sunrise to sunset, she studied how fish grow, how they behave, and how they were put together, both inside and out. Despite all of the people who didn't believe in her, Eugenie was becoming one of the smartest students in her field. Even after she earned her degree, many still doubted her. But Eugenie's work was just beginning. Eager to make discoveries of her own, Eugenie finally dove into the open ocean. In the Red Sea, Eugenie collected hundreds of fish, including 3 new species that had not been discovered before. The Red Sea sand diver, the barred Xenia pipefish, and the volcano tripplefin. On a research mission exploring the Palau Islands, Eugenie was diving alone when she encountered her first ever wild shark. She wasn't afraid. Instead, she thought it was beautiful. In Isla Mujeres, she dispelled the myth that sharks must keep moving to stay alive when she swam through dark caves still and silent, full of resting sharks. Eugenie's daring heart grew bolder with each dive. Soon, they began to call her Shark Lady. Eugenie had proven she was smart enough to be a scientist and brave enough to explore the oceans. As her courage grew, she began to love and understand her beloved sharks more and more. But she never forgot many still believed that sharks were mindless killers. Because of their scary reputation, humans were hunting sharks all over the world. Eugenie knew that sharks weren't stupid or mean. She was determined to prove everyone wrong. Eugenie fished through her mind and devised a brilliant experiment. Could she train a shark the way a person trains a dog? Were sharks much smarter than anyone knew? They were. Eugenie was the first scientist in the world to train sharks and even learned they could remember their training for at least 2 months later. Sharks were not mindless killers. Sharks were beautiful. Sharks were smart. They deserved to be studied, protected, and loved. and Eugenie's dream was now a dream come true.
What a sweet book about somebody who just followed her passion and dreams. And that was actually, I guess, being an advocate for sharks, right? Sharks are something that may be really scary for people, and they are scary animals, but she definitely wanted people to know that they were also smart and that they can be trained and that we didn't have to necessarily be so fearful of them. So I want you to have a super amazing day.